how did you come up with that idea of Malachi Starks at 29 for this Washington Commanders team overall?
I remember sitting there doing it and pouring, like it took me all day because you have all these calls and then you're trying to fit and go through it and actually put yourself in the seat of these general managers. And I get down to 29 and I look up and I'm like, oh, I don't think Starks is going to get here, but I can't find a place where I think that he would go over the player that team took. And I'm like, so maybe this is a scenario that could, like, here's the thing. Think about like the Baltimore Ravens, right? One of the organizations, like they're in the playoffs almost every year. They're always picking in the mid to late 20s or 30, so 30, 31, 32. And they are one of the most patient organizations out there. And their patience gets paid off just about every year in the draft. And maybe it's sticking there at 22 or 24, or it's trading back just a few spots to a team that's getting anxious, right? And they always wind up with a player you're like, I never thought he was going to be there. And I think now the Commanders, like, now you're at the big boy table, right? And now you get your first draft after a season like you just had, and you got your quarterback. I've also done a study too, that you guys might find this interesting. If you go back and study all these really good organizations that are always in the playoffs, Chiefs, the Bills now, the Eagles, especially, the Packers, the Ravens, every one of them, if you go study their draft history, go year by year, once they identified, like, yeah, that's our guy at quarterback, whether it was Lamar in Baltimore, Green Bay always had it, with Josh Allen in Buffalo, Mahomes in Kansas City, it's like they took this sharp left turn. And every draft after that, and I'm talking 3-4 years, like they're still doing it, defense. Like
Hamilton pick a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's like 3 of the top 4 picks were defensive players, 5 of the top 6. Like the Chiefs 2 years after drafting Mahomes, all 6 draft picks, defensive players. You know why? In talking to these GMs, 2 reasons. One, because my guy he's going to make up for the sins of 10 guys on that side of the ball. He can't help those guys on that side of the ball. So we better get great with personnel on that side of the ball. And excuse me, 2 or B is that we're going to score points with our guy. Like, Jay, we're going to score points now. So we got to find closers. And I remember talking to Bill Polian, the old GM for the Colts, when he came and worked at ESPN. One of his big things was like we had to get pass rushers on that turf. They had to run sub 1/6 second 10-yard splits. I can remember like how passionate he was. We had to have closers, guys who could close the game. Talking to Howie Roseman at the Combine. He said the same where he goes, we had to find closers. And so I think the Redskins, I always said this.
Hey, you good on here? Do you
Commanders. I see those colors and it's where my head goes from childhood. The Commanders are in a position now, they got their guy and they can be patient and they can sit back. And if it's an edge rusher, awesome. But if it's not, then we just take a player that everyone in the league thinks is one of the 20, 24, 25 best players in the league in Starks, and let's take him. And let's get a difference maker. Let's get a guy who can take the ball away, great ball skills, unbelievably smart. Leadership is off the charts. We lost Jeremy Chin. So I don't know. It wasn't where I wanted to go with the pick, to answer your question in a very roundabout way, but it wouldn't shock me if they hung there and got a really good football player that no one thought would be there at 29.